Jonathan and Susie refused to read a listener comment praising Joni's recent marriage to sex therapist Doug Weiss. The couple objected to the marriage, believing that Weiss lacked biblical grounds for divorcing his wife. But in audio obtained by the Roy's Report, Evans pressures the couple to submit to Joni, claiming she has godlike authority.
And submission means she's the voice of God to you. And I said,
I'm sorry, can you clarify? She said she's the voice of God to me?
she's the voice of God.
So God's voice is.
So I have to hear, I can't hear from God, I have to hear from her?
Outside of Daystar. What she says is God in Daystar. This is the voice of God in Daystar.
But what accountability does she have if she's off?
Well, she has a husband. She has a board.
I'm on the board.
Yeah. But you're not, individually, you're not her accountability. Individually, you're her employee.
For more information, see the article linked in the comments.
A video statement from Joni Lamb of the Daystar Network. This was from November 25th. It's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm going to interject my thoughts.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes today to speak from my heart to the Daystar family and friends.
She makes it really clear right off the bat that this statement is for Daystar supporters. Keep sending that money in because you believe whatever we say, and that's what we want you to keep doing. To anybody who's objectively looking at the situation, what she's about to say is just a public relations stunt. And this is how it works when you're the big guy with the big microphone. You get to tell your version of reality, and most of the people who already believe you will continue to believe you. Now let's watch Joni Lamb throw her own son and daughter-in-law under the bus while she also plays the victim.
Recently, Daystar made the decision to terminate my son Jonathan Lamb's employment. That decision was not taken lightly. It followed a 15-month review of Jonathan's performance and his refusal to take any steps to satisfy a detailed performance improvement plan put in place.
Isn't it amazing how these people who always over-spiritualize everything, and they talk about how they prayed about something and God came to them and gave them this new idea that's the new thing, the new TV station, the new TV program. It's all very spiritual until something like this happens. And then she turns into this corporate CEO type who says, it's not my fault we fired him. He failed to follow
a detailed performance improvement plan put in place. He also refused my offer to participate in a formal mediation to resolve grievances in a biblical and professional manner.
Hey amigos, welcome to my channel. I forgot I am not a professional. I am not a professional YouTuber guy. I do this on my free time. Please support your local food bank, drug and alcohol center. Here on my channel, soy pastor de la calle. I'm a Christian street pastor, and on my free time, I do social media videos. Now, this is all right. We got everybody's doxing everybody in this video. We got emails everywhere. All right, we got emails and emails. And if you don't know what the word doxing is, releasing of a dossier of personal information on someone. And before we even get started, no little lies. Viewer discretion is advised. We're keeping the whole entire Lamb family in prayer on my channel. I don't hate any of them. The whole thing is an absolute disaster fiasco. Eric, the crisis manager, has stepped in. Charisma Magazine coordinated. People are speculating that they're coordinating with Eric. Now, I don't know that to be true. I just know that Eric was on their program today, and Charisma Magazine just released an article. This is the article that just got uploaded. She's the voice of God to you. Joni Lamb, Jimmy Evans, accused of bullying and spiritual abuse. And in this, you know what? Before we go any further, I have a release from Daystar. So where's my YouTube channel? And thank you for everyone who's liking my videos. More people see my videos when you just click that little button. So in the description of my video, I have 18 people that like my video. Official statement, Joni Lamb. All right, now I have this video. I've downloaded it and I've changed it up a little bit. So at the beginning of this, it was the messed up church playing the victim, and in my description of my video, all right here it says, do you see this? If you are interested in the messed up church, in the description of my video, just click that one and you can see this video. But of course I downloaded it. Here it is here.
from my heart.
And now we're dealing with Daystar, apparently like $1 billion ministry, right? So I had to modify the audio a little bit. And under the law of fair use of public domain, I can't play the whole thing, but I'll let you listen to a little bit of it, and then we're going to read the article. And we're also going to be she's doxing her son, Jonathan. We're going to look at that as well.
I would succeed him as president. Jonathan's disappointment in not getting his way only deepened when I married Dr. Doug Weiss, who has been such a blessing to me, the rest of my family, and Daystar. I can tell you that as a mother, as a grandmother, this situation saddens me deeply, and it grieves my heart because I love my family. I love all my children. I love my grandchildren. I love the work we've done together for so many years. And I had hoped that we could have resolved the situation in private. But now, Jonathan has given me no choice except to speak out. Everyone knows that we have dedicated our lives to spreading the love of Jesus.
All right. So the link in the description to watch Joni's full statement, but total vindication. She's saying that she did everything she could. She's under attack. Now, Jonathan, of course, and Susie are saying night and day opposite. This is the statement where she's doxing her son, and I don't like it because she just clips out a little bit of his email right here. Wow, okay, so this is the official one. Son of Daystar founders launched smear campaign when he is not named future president. So this is, I'm just noticing this now. Official statement from Joni. Now, in the link in the description, you can read it all. We're going to read the article. But here it is here. This is Jonathan's disappointment escalated to the point where he attempted to blackmail him. So what they're saying is Jonathan tried to blackmail her, become a future president of Daystar. Now, this is an excerpt from Jonathan Lamb, so we don't have the full email. Interesting enough, we are going to be looking at full emails in context, but they did, sorry, where to go? They did, okay, we remain willing to put this episode, so this is Jonathan, all right, behind us. However, we also require security, transparency, and clarity about our futures at Daystar. To achieve this goal, we would suggest that Joni, Daystar, and ourselves enter into a new contract that clearly spells out my future role as president of Daystar, restricts the ability to Joni and any other officer or director from taking actions adverse to our employee without good cause, to be clearly defined, and without prior approval of a majority of the board or directors. Now here it is here. They've underlined this and made it bold. In exchange for the agreement contemplated. Look thoroughly for a long time. Contemplate. Above, we will agree not to use disseminated or otherwise, I have dyslexia, I'm not good with fancy words, all right? I'm undereducated. Public, I'm a good street guy. Publish any and all audio recordings that could be harmful or embarrassing to Daystar, Joni and family. So that's what we have. I don't know how many audio recordings that we do have, but let's get into this article. All right. Thank you for everyone who showed up to watch. I have a few people watching. And let's get into this article. During their time at Daystar, former Vice President Jonathan Lamb and his wife, Susie Lamb, say they were repeatedly spiritually abused and bullied by Jonathan's mother, Daystar President Joni Lamb, and her allies. And of course, I showed you, they're saying total vindication, and Jonathan is the one. Most blatantly, they say Joni ambushed the couple by bringing in Christian heavy hitter Jimmy Evans, founder of XO Marriage, for meeting on July 11th, 2023. Not only did Joni shame her son by telling him his wife had him by the balls, but Evans pressured Jonathan to submit to his mother, claiming she had godlike authority. Submission means she is the voice of God to you. I played that clip at the beginning of this with the audio. 1 second, eh? Evans told Jonathan and Susie on a recording the couple gave to RR. I'm sorry, can you clarify? Jonathan says. She is a voice of God to me. She is a voice of God to you, Evans said. So I can't. Let's listen to that again.
Daystar president Joni to sex therapist Doug Weiss. The couple objected to the marriage, believing that Weiss lacked biblical grounds for divorcing his wife. But in audio obtained by the Roy's report, Evans pressures the couple to submit to Joni, claiming she has godlike authority.
And submission means she's the voice of God to you.
Let me move myself off the screen. And it is. Great comment, Christine. It's a total disaster fiasco. The whole thing.
And I said,
I'm sorry, can you clarify? She said she's the voice of God to me?
she's the voice of God.
So
to you.
God's voice is
So I have to
Daystar.
hear, I can't hear from God, I have to hear from her?
Outside of Daystar. What she says is God in Daystar. This is the voice of God in Daystar now.
But what accountability does she have if she's off?
Well, she has
Him.
a husband. She has a board.
I'm
He
on
is
the
the
board.
voice.
Yeah. But you're not, individually, you're not her accountability. Individually, you're her employee.
For more information, see the article
Which is the article I'm reading right now. So I can't hear from God. See, it's now we're Christians on my channel. We're praying for everyone involved. The whole idea that Joni is God, the voice of God, is ludicrous. I don't know why Evans would ever say that. All right. I'm not a cessationist, by the way. I am a third-generation Pentecostal. So I can't hear from God. I have to hear from you, Jonathan asked. Outside of Daystar, Evans replied, what she says is God in Daystar. This is the voice of God in Daystar. The contentious meeting came out 2 years after Jonathan caught a family member in a compromising situation with his daughter. I believe he's telling the truth. And accused him of, I'm going to get hit with a restriction. We're calling it SA. Well, actually, this isn't, but this is, well, you can see it on the screen. As reported previously, Jonathan and Susie claimed, I have to be careful with YouTube, or I'll get hit with the infraction. Claimed that Joni and her late husband, Daystar co-founder Marcus Lamb, immediately defended the family member and declared him innocent. This caused a major rift from the family, but a few weeks later, in late August 2021, Marcus told Jonathan and his brother-in-law, Jonathan J.W. Weiss, that an international investigation had cleared his family member. The couple found out much later about critical deficiencies in that investigation. So then in November 2021, Marcus died, unexpectedly from complications relating to C19. I have a pinched nerve. On June 10th, Joni married Doug Weiss, a sex therapist and repeated guest on Daystar TV, who's no relation to J.W. Weiss. Doug Weiss had filed for divorce his wife 30 years, just 2 months after Marcus died. So Marcus died 2 months later. He divorced his wife, this sex therapist guy, which I'm not even going to... There's lots of information regarding his explicit R-rated PG-13 sex therapy sicko. Anyways, he's claiming to be a couple sex therapist. So he divorces his wife and married Joni. And according to Jonathan and Susie, they're meeting with Evans in July. It's so... I just don't want it on my channel. You can go... If you just search Doug Weiss sex therapy, I don't want to listen to him. Was an attempt to bully the couple into publicly supporting Joni's second marriage. God bless Joni or Jonathan and Susie. According to Jonathan and Susie, none of Joni's kids or their spouses agreed with Joni's marriage to Weiss. They all believed Weiss lacked biblical grounds for divorcing his wife, and by marrying him, Joni was committing adultery. Just 2 months before the wedding, a longtime friend of Daystar, Dennis Boggs, of Living Waters Ministry, wrote an impassioned letter. This is Mr. Boggs, Lee and Dennis Boggs. So here's the letter here, and you can read the whole letter from Denise. 2 months before the wedding, a lifetime friend of Daystar, Dennis Bogues, Living Water Ministry, wrote an impassioned letter to Joni's family urging him to intervene. Bogues not only knew Joni well, but also had counseling Doug Weiss and Lisa Weiss just prior to their divorce. Bogues wrote that she had voiced concern about Wise to Joni, but she refused to hear me. Now Bogues said Joni, or is it Boggs? Boggs, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. Under the spirit of deception, due to Weiss's influence, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Bogues wrote, he is of no caliber for such a high platform. She added, Joni didn't endorse the divorce until she came under his deception using Daystar platform. The enemy had successfully mocked the marriage covenant using one of the strongest Christian TV networks in the nations. All right, there's Denise Bogues. Jonathan told TR, usually I have about 40 or 50 people watching me. There's 700 people, 800 people watching me right now. So thank you to my friends just like that video. And I'm doing the best I can. I'm a street pastor. I'm not a professional YouTuber guy. My last video, nobody could hear me because my microphone was way over there. So I'm doing the best I can. Jonathan told TR that he gathered his friends, his family to confront Joni 2 days after receiving the letter. But Joni allowed each person no more than 60 seconds to share their heart. Says all she sees from us is fearing the rush out the door and go fly out to New York with Doug, Jonathan said. After Joni and Doug Wise were married, Jonathan and Susie remained uneasy about the marriage. But on July 5th, well, no kidding, the whole thing is crazy. He's claiming to be a sex therapist, divorces his wife and marries Joni. But all right. But on July 5th, they were asked to read a viewer comment on air praising Joni's recent marriage to Wise. The couple refused to do so because they felt it would give tacit approval of the marriage. They refused apparently. Oh, okay. The refusal apparently deeply offended Joni. So did you catch that? The couple refused to do so. To read a viewer comment on air. This promoted the meeting with Evans, in which Evans and Joni equated Joni's wishes with God's and Jonathan and Susie opposition with Satan. In 2017, Broken Tusk consultant and pastor coach F. Reamer Dietrich writes, spiritual abuse happens when people use God or their supporting relationship with God to control behavior for their benefit. Joni and Susie said that they precisely what Evans and Joni were doing. JR says, why don't you believe them? I do believe them. I believe that they're telling the truth. Not these guys. Well, I'm keeping everyone in prayer until more information comes out. But, you know, I believe that Jonathan, right, and Susie are telling the truth. That's what I believe. And I'm praying for everybody involved. That's my position on it. Just giving you the articles that are coming out. Where God's represented on the recording of the meeting, Evans asked Jonathan, if God came to you right now and he is saying you made a mistake, would you correct it? And that's exactly what's happening. Of course, without question, Jonathan replies, but you're not, Evans says. No, but God doesn't appear. He didn't speak audibly, Jonathan says. God has spoken to you, Joni interrupts. He spoke to you through me. Okay. You're not God's representatives. On the recording of the meeting, Evans and Jonathan, if God came to you right now and he is saying you made a mistake, would you correct it? Question mark. And that's exactly what's happening. Of course, without question, Jonathan replies, but you're not, Evans says. No, but God didn't appear. He didn't speak audibly, Jonathan says. God has spoken to you, Joni interrupts. He has spoken through me. He spoke to you through Jimmy. You're not God, Jonathan says. So, this is horrible. All right, obviously, Joni is not God. So, you know, this whole thing is so bizarre. Why are they doing this publicly? That, you know, they gotta The police should have been called on day one in regards to their daughter, and they shouldn't have reported they should have reported immediately to the police. All right, immediate to the police. This is, but we were God's representative, Evans says. We're God's representative, Joni repeats. Joni and Evans also appealed to the ministry expertise as based of their authority over Jonathan and Susie. When I say reported to the police, there has been a police report filed and then closed, and then now it's reopened. But from day one, they should have gone directly to the police. If you ever have any type of this suspicion, don't get your church to investigate it. You go straight to the police department. You file a police, you get detectives involved. That's the first, that's day one. As soon as the incident happens, you go right to the police. This is common sense, and people in the clergy should know this. Everyone in the clergy has to know this. You've got 80 years of experience sitting right here talking to you, Evans says. It's a spirit, Jonathan. If it's a spirit, you won't listen, not just to authority, but experience. Didn't the pastor of 41 years work with marriages, Joni adds, I don't think so. You have about a thumbnail of experience compared to us. Anywhere in the meeting, Jonathan inquires. I'm assuming they have the audio of this. I don't see it here, though, or I would have played it for you. So I'm assuming they have the audio here somewhere. We'll just keep reading. And then we'll look at the updates on Twitter. And we'll look at Joni and Julie Roy's article updates. Elsewhere in the meeting, Jonathan required also has authority over Joni. What accountability does she have if she's off? He asked. We listened to that. Well, she has a husband. She is on the board, Evans said. I'm on the board, Jonathan replies. I played you that audio. At that time, the only people at Daystar board were Jonathan, Joni, and Tom Callender, a lawyer and Joni's longtime friend, Jonathan told TRR. Yeah, but individually, you're not her accountability. Individually, you're her employee. Evans insisted. She's the voice of God in Daystar. There's no other accountability at Daystar, Jonathan complains. Then Evan appeals to Scripture saying, Romans 13, obey your leaders and submit to your authority because they established by God. All right, so this is talking about governmental authority. This isn't talking about... There is Bible verses, submit to your authority as they keep watch over you as men who must give you of an account. But Romans 13 is talking about governmental. It's right in that. Romans 13, it says, pay your taxes to the governing authorities. That's what Romans 13 is talking about. It's not talking about spiritual leadership and that Joni is God, voice. Right? Tells the authority of all authority because established by God. Jonathan again objects. No, but I'm saying who is the accountability at Daystar, but that's not your concern. And just full disclosure, you could read different leadership roles into Romans 13, but in context, Romans 13 is talking about governing authorities, not church authority. But that's not your concern, Evans asserts. And by the way, that's where you get into a lot of trouble. When you put the governing authorities paying taxes into spiritual leadership of a church, you can use the Bible as a weapon. And it sadly in church history, the Crusades and all through church history, some of the biggest atrocities happen, people claiming Christianity. But that's not your concern, Evans asserted. Your concern is what we do say, and it can't be. All right, let me do this again. But that's not your concern, Evans asserted. Your concern is do what we say, and if you can't be here. Then Joni interrupts, tell me what the Lord told you about the stubbornness that it leads to. We'll look at Romans 13 in a second. What the Bible says, this was related to Saul. Rebellion is a sin of witchcraft. That's where we get that verse in Samuel. That rebellion is this, there it is there. The rebellion is this witchcraft. Evans said, and stubbornness is an iniquity of idolatry. And so it equates stubbornness with being an idol worshiper. And the reason it doesn't is because stubbornness is a worship of your own opinion. And that's what you're all doing. You're being stubborn. You're making an idol out of your own opinion related to Doug Weiss. Thanks for everyone who stopped in to watch. Everyone in the meeting, Joni similarly accused Jonathan of making an opinion an idol and warns him of his consequences. God wouldn't be pleased with this, Joni says. You have to submit to Joni. She's the voice of God at D-Star. I added that in. And you're opening up yourself, both of you, to demonic activity to your family and with your kids who are rebelling against me. Wow. So you're getting a look behind the scenes for sure. Jonathan Suji objects, saying it's not rebellion. It is rebellion, Joni asserts. You're bringing a curse upon your kids. This is unbelievable. I'm just reading this for the first time. Wow. If they release this audio, I'll play it. I don't see the full audio here. So, wow, I guess this is what she said. You're going to bring a curse upon your kids. Wow. At one point in the meeting, Joni accused Susie of being led by her feelings and points to the sex abuse allegations of 2021 and as an example how unreliably Susie's feelings are. There was an issue with the family member. I'm not going to tell you that because I know they wouldn't want me to share it, Joni tells Evans. But Susie was completely convinced, and Jonathan was completely convinced that the family members were doing something that he absolutely was innocent of. And it was a terrible thing to happen in our family, but she drove these things for a lot. It's same thing. It's exactly the same thing. I pray the full truth comes out. I pray for the Lord's will be done. And I pray for the Lamb family. They're a beautiful family. The conflict reached a crescendo 15 minutes later when Joni and Susie go head-to-head about Susie's refusing to read the viewer comment. Okay, this is okay. If I'm not capable, then I have to stick with my convictions, Joni says. All right. It's not your right to agree or disagree with it, Joni tells Susie. If a viewer has a comment about me, or you or anyone else, it's not a nice comment. That's a good thing to read it. If it doesn't have anything to do with you, you're reading a viewer comment. I'm representing it. It's a lie, Susie says. You're not representing anything, Joni replies. I'm reading it. Susie says, it's not a lie, Joni objects. It's a lie if you say something I don't believe, Susie replies. If it has nothing to do with you, it's a viewer comment, it's not Susie's comment, it's a viewer's comment, Joni says. I can't go against... Praise the Lord for Susie, eh? I'm a Canadian, eh? So God bless Susie. She's standing up to Joni behind closed doors. I can't go against my own conviction, Susie says. And then Joni, of course, don't come back. And then Joni replies, you're gone. You're fired. If you can't read a nice comment about Doug, I don't want you here. Wow. So we're really seeing what's coming out in this whole disaster fiasco. You won't do the green room. Jonathan and Susie show Daystar. You won't do anything. So they were standing on their convictions. After Susie is fired, Jimmy and Joni turn their attention to Jonathan, asking if they would read the comment if he asked to do so again. Repeatedly, John asked Joni to respect his wishes. All I wanted to hear is that you would submit to my authority, Joni says. Wow. That's all. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear anything about your personal convictions. Jonathan says he would submit to Joni, but when Evan asked if he meant Jonathan would read the comment, if he asked to read it today, there's a long pause and Evan says, see now, you're in trouble with her. Susie objects to being made some bad guy. Then Joni says, you are the bad guy. Susie, you got him in by the balls. You got him by the balls and you know it. Babe, you're scary. You're really scary, Susan says to Jonathan. You think horrible things. I've got you by the balls? Who talks like this? You gave him a big look, Joni says. I gave him a look of pity like you're cornering him. This is evil. What is happening to Susie replies. No, that's what evil is, Joni says. That's evil. You and your spirit is driving you. At the end of the meeting, Susie appears to leave the room, leaving Jonathan alone with his mom and Evans. Joni encourages Jonathan to draw the line in the sand with Susie. You're going to pay hell for it, but stand your ground. Jonathan tells his mother that Susie are on the same page. All right? Jonathan and Susie are on the same page, but she appears to hear what but she appears not to hear what he says. You're going to catch hell, so your handler says. You are about to catch hell, so your handler says. Joni says, you're going to cover her, handle her. Then speaking to Evans, Joni says, this is going to be Alamo. This is going to be his Alamo. So he's going to handle it and handle it or not. But I tell you, this will probably decide your leadership role here at Daystar, how you'll handle it. Jonathan fired from Daystar. After the meeting, Jonathan wrote in an email to Joni, his mom. Look at that. Dear mom. This is Jonathan's mom. It's heartbreaking to me on a personal note to see this kind of thing happen in a family. Well, I'll read it. You said in my email with a mischaracterization what happened in the meeting, but the truth is black and white. You are denying that. Here, I can get this bigger. I wonder if I can close this. I don't know how to close that. There. Thank you to my friends who are liking my videos. This video is live. When the 6 of the siblings were all in unity that we did not have a peace about the marriage, we did what was right in full submission to the man you chose to oversee your relationship, which is the only reason we went to Jimmy Evans. In that meeting, Jimmy was very clear that Susie and I were the only ones who respected him, but did a 180 in the meeting by calling us disrespected when we didn't say much. Then you both said that if I wasn't going to read the viewer feedback the next day, I was not submitted and I would be fired on the very moment. I am not choosing to be removed from ministry now, nor did Susie. Susie clearly stated that she's been and always will be full of submission to you, just that she would not be forced to read viewer feedback about Doug. Even though we weren't in favor of marrying Doug, we feel free that we can make choices before God. All right, this poor guy. We even came to your wedding to show love and support, and we all ask that you don't let your marriage interfere with our jobs. Susie said she would never quit because she did not permission and God to do so. Jimmy and you said, since you are the voice of God at Daystar, we have no personal convictions in the building, and we must do and read everything you say. Susie simply said she stood by her conviction and told her that she was fired and take her stuff and leave. I was trapped in an impossible position, threatened to be thrown out of Daystar at the very moment, like I explained before, with my bright birthright in question. Hopefully you can see that it's really small. I said I submit because I always have, but I also needed time to go pray and figure out what to do next. Very important. Prayer and fasting. There's wisdom in the counsel of many. The next morning I walked out of my decision by not reading the viewer feedback on Ministry Now for what you and Jimmy said I would be fired if I did not. Hence my confusion and wanting more clarity. Things are completely out of hand. I never thought in my life I would put in this position. We urgently need to meet about this matter. I'll be waiting to hear you next. What I find interesting about this is that they have posted the whole entire email. And let's go back. Where Joni has clipped out. It would be interesting the whole email that Jonathan sent if they posted that. I'll give you updates as more information comes out. I don't believe this is just the beginning of this, I believe, personally. Trapped in an impossible position, things are completely out of hand. All right, so I already wrote all this. Joni replied, Jonathan, here it is here. This is Joni's email. I don't know why does that thing? Sorry, I can't get it any bigger. I'll just read it. Yes, your email completely mischaracterization of the meeting. There was no mocking or laughter at either of you. For now, payroll isn't being affected. Payroll. But I'm giving you time for parent council to decide roles of Ministry Now, etc. As you stated, you and Susie will not be returning for Ministry Now. Wow. When is this? July 14th. Wow. This is July 14th of 2023. I have decided when it's appropriate for both of you to rejoin based on your ability to follow protocol as directed by me as executive producer and the producer in charge. I'll let you know when I'm ready to meet on the issue. Sent by my iPhone, Joni Lamb. Joni Lamb to Jonathan Lamb. Over the next 18 months, Jonathan and Susie say they were intimidated and threats of Daystar intensified commuting in Jonathan's termination Daystar. All right. We will cover the details of what happened during those 18 months in our next story. Oh, is that it? All right. So there's going to be another story. Let me read that again. Over the next 18 months, Jonathan and Susie say the intimidation about threats and Daystar infused criminal Jonathan's termination Daystar. So on the word and testimony of these guys, that's what they say. We will cover the details of what happened during the 18 months in the next story. TR reached out to Daystar with specific questions regarding the story. Daystar replied that Joni would be releasing an official statement. That's what I played at the very beginning of this. In the official statement, Joni accuses Jonathan of fabrication of a smear campaign because he was not named the future president of Daystar following the deaths of his father. And that's the one I showed you. This is it. Sons of Daystar founders launched smear campaign. And this is what the portion of the email that they posted. I've already read that to you. And what they're saying in it is that rather than take steps to improve the performance at Daystar, it seems clear now that Jonathan was focused on fabricating a smear campaign. You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named the future president of Daystar following the death of his father and husband, Marcus, despite the fact Marcus had clearly given directive to his family and to the board that I would succeed him as president. His disappointment in not getting his way only deepened when I married Doug Weiss. I believe all around everybody's saying the same thing, that they were upset about the marriage, and who has been such a blessing to me, the rest of the family, and Daystar. Jonathan's disappointment escalated to the point where he attempted to blackmail his way to becoming the future president of Daystar. That's their perspective of it. All right. And then, of course, Jonathan and Susie. Joni also accused Jonathan of attempting to blackmail. I already did that. According to Jonathan and Susie, the commitment not to publish audio recordings was not blackmail, but a response to 13 stipulations. Requirements of Joni and Susie. They will keep disagreements about theological oppositions to marriage to themselves privately. They will keep disagreements of Doug's divorce to themselves privately. So this is like a gag order. What it sounds like to me. Will accept the existence of marriage, supporting her in the marriage, and accept the fact that Doug was her husband, keeping the disagreements. Will accept the decision to make Doug co-host. Will keep the objections to Doug being co-host. Will make no social media posts about Daystar. Delete Jonathan's sabbatical posting and all comments off the internet. Delete any other social media posts by Jonathan. Susie has her posts on social media that has no names but can be interpreted as referring to the sabbatical. Jonathan must make a statement approving Joni that expressly support for Joni and sabbatical is over. Glad to be back. Must agree to destroy all recordings of meetings. So it sounds like they knew about these meetings that were all recorded. Jonathan must make a statement. All right, what is it? Must be destroy all recordings of meetings with Jimmy Evans and Joni, and any recordings of Joni talking privately with Joni and Susie over refusal to read on air. Must agree to destroy all Susie recordings of private communications. There must be discussion with any programmers, viewers, partners, and any third parties concerning the items. Joni agrees to allow Jonathan and Susie to return to ministry now. Joni agrees. Okay, so this is the requirements for Jonathan and Susie. Joni agrees. Allow Jonathan and Susie to return to ministry now. Jonathan and Susie will be required to read statements about the marriage or publicly endorse the marriage. Will not be required, They will not be required to read statements about the marriage or publicly endorse the marriage. Sounds like a bit of a compromise. Jonathan and Susie will be given the opportunity to rebuild trust over time and earn back other involvement. It was Marcus Lamb's, that letter that I read prior to this was Jonathan would go on to be Daystar. Like he was going to be the position of he would have had Joni's position. When Joni stepped aside, Jonathan was going to take over the whole entire Daystar. That was one of the emails that I read. Daystar gave his couple who wanted to be reinstated in the previous Daystar. All right. One of the stipulations, agree to destroy all recordings and meetings with Jimmy Evans, Joni, and recordings of Joni taking privately with Joni and Susie over refusing to hire. So those recordings are getting posted. This is an article, obviously. He didn't destroy them. And they're going to keep doing reports. Jonathan added the references to the future role of president of Daystar. All right. Jonathan added his reference to the future role of president of Daystar was not an attempt to usurp his mother's position. Instead, he was referring to the succession plan. Oh boy, another full email. Oh, look at this. This is Marcus Lamb. This is the email is this the email? This is the email. I just finished commenting on this. This is the email I was talking about. Or is this another one? There was a lot of people speculating online. Well, there's a lot of speculation going on. I'll leave it at that. A lot of speculation going on. There's, in regards to how Mr. Lamb actually died. Anyways. To the board of directors, a word. What I had thought that he had died of C19, but it turns out it was heart complications. Attention, this is important. You can't see this. I don't know. This has got to be the worst PDF. Oh, there we go. Why can't I close that? There. This is email. Look at this. So I proceed. This is Marcus Lamb before he died, founder and president. To the board of directors, word. Okay, attention. This is important directive for me, to each of you who are important to me. So important to Daystar. Since I'm older than Joni, and since women historically live longer, if you're in my comment section, when did Marcus actually die? This is dated August 2021. If you can comment, if you're watching the restream, when did he actually die? Because this is August 10th, 2021. Since I'm older than Joni and since women historically live longer than me, I will probably go to heaven before Joni. Right? So if you can leave that in the comments section. Here, I'll show you. Do you see? This is the email right here. August 11th, 2021. I'll read my comments. If anybody could do a quick search shortly after this. November 30th. November, June, July, August, September, October. This is only 4 months. If my comment is right, Rain Coffee book. Marcus wrote this email 4 months before he died. Am I reading that right? That's crazy. Tragic. All right. And in this email, it says, since I'm older than Joni, I will probably go to heaven before Joni. Now, I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon. 4 months later, he's dead. That's, life is, James says life is like a vapor, right? You ask me, my hair's falling out. I'm getting old. I got crinkles all over my eyes. My shoulder's killing me. When I was 20, I didn't have these pains, but I'm getting old. As a result, I work out with weights. I play golf and I try to take care of what I eat. I live as long as I could, influence my grandchildren, including the ones that come. So, if I precede Joni's in death, then my director is Joni will replace me as the head of Daystar. This is like his last will and testament. I further direct that if Joni passes or retires, then Jonathan Lamb will become the head of Daystar. He wrote this, or this email was written, I should put it that way. This email, and it was written to Rachel, Jonathan, Susan, Rebecca, Arnold. 4 months before he died. I make this director, founding president, and CEO Word and the Daystar Television Network. I further instruct Arnold that this email is to be placed in the official minutes of. Okay, I call Joni, Jonathan, Lamb, and Tom Carpenter to respond in the affirmative to the decision order in this. It's such a cryptic thing, looking at it now that this is. Oh, sorry, I got to take that off the screen. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Rainforest Cafe, for your. Thanks, Tina. November 30th. Thank you, Tina. Yeah, this is 4 months. November 30th. Tina says, my friend Tina, God bless you. My moderator. This is August 10th. And this is another comment. Rain Coffee Books says Joni didn't have a Marcus, had a heart problem. All right, moving on. And then we'll go to social media and see if there's any more updates. If Joni passed or retired, Jonathan become president. However, both Jonathan and Susie noted that these negotiations happened before November 18th, 2023. All right, so here it is here. Both Jonathan and Susie noted that these negotiations happened before November 18th, when Denise Boggs revealed to them that the internal investigation had not cleared their family member of this. I don't want to get hit with the, you got to be careful. They censor you on YouTube. Like, take my video down. So this of their daughter. At that point, the couple says that she no longer cared about their job, just wanted justice. Mr. Lamb, full email expert of Joni official statement. Oh, look at this. Full email excerpt in So sorry. I'm telling you the truth when I haven't read this. So like I said it would be interesting if they would post the full what this is. Look at full email of Johnny's official statement. This is Johnny's. Where's Joni's official statement? Anyways, I showed it. Here it is. Here it is here. Son of Daystar founder launches smear campaign. So here it is here. We'll close that up. There's the smear campaign. We closed up that. We'll close this up. Sorry about this. We'll close that up. We'll go to social media in a second. Here it is here. Well, it's still no bigger. One second here. I'll pull it up on so I can have it bigger. Thank you for my friends for liking this video. This video is live. At the end of this video, I'll answer some questions if I can, and I'll keep you up to date. And I'll be following this very closely as more information comes out. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe, and we'll look at it. So here, look at it. I can get it nice and big. I just downloaded the email. So let me pull this over here. All right. There we go. There we go. Daystar, this is the full email. Daystar, let's look at it in context, all right? Daystar has always been our calling. For the sake of the kingdom and Daystar, we are willing to work to put this unfortunate episode behind. The list of demands we received, however, are overreacting, inaccurate, and missing essential terms that we view as, oh boy, prerequisite in moving forward. First and foremost, we agree that trust must be rebuilt and that it must be rebuilt slowly. We are committed to walking in this path. Our convictions, biblical beliefs, and moral values are not going to be dictated, controlled, or otherwise impinged. Wow. This is October 2023. Do you see that? Right there. Started off pretty good. Does this look like blackmail? The idea is that this is blackmail. This episode began because of Joni's need to control our biblical convictions to suit her personal choices. We will not compromise on our biblical beliefs and moral convictions. We are, however, willing to make these beliefs to ourselves, and we can agree not to share our thoughts about Joni's marriage on Doug on Air. So he's compromising with our viewers or staff on social media. To be clear, moving forward, we will only share and read statements on air that we are approved and thus in the line of truth. So far, it looks like a good meme. Susie would never share and does not pose recordings. Listen to this. Susie would never share and does not pose recordings of private conversation with Joni. Susie has owned a letter fully restraining her to all previous roles at Daystar during the meeting with Joni and Jimmy Evans. Joni purported to fire Susie and promote removal of her in all appearances at Daystar. This is pretty harmful and disappointing action. A repair must be made. We remain willing to put this episode behind us. However, we also require security, transparency, and certainty about our futures at Daystar. To achieve this goal, we would suggest that Joni, Daystar, and ourselves enter into a new contract and clearly spells out the future role of President of Daystar. Restricts the ability of Joni or any other officer or director from taking action adversely to our employment without good cause, to be clearly defined, and without prior approval of majority of the board of directors. In exchange for the agreement contemplated above, we will agree not to use decimate, or otherwise publish any of the audio recordings that could be harmful or embarrassing to Daystar, Joni, or our family. Lastly, our social media accounts are our own property. They do not belong to Daystar. They will not be controlled or censored by Daystar. Jonathan Lamb, Vice President of Daystar. I think it's a great letter. That's my opinion, right? Not only that, he's compromising. He's like, all right, in compromise, when I say that is that, what he's trying to do is he's trying to make amends. That's my interpretation of this, right? So that's my interpretation. And of course, they've taken that letter that I think it's a beautifully written letter and said, Son of Daystar launches a smear campaign where he's blackmailing them. So that's the Daystar. And that's the official one. We'll listen to a bit more of that, and I'll go check out
Jesus. And to see it attacked by my son Jonathan and his wife is truly heartbreaking. I want to assure you that all the allegations that are circulating against myself and my late husband are completely false. We have already begun to take legal steps to defend ourselves, and we will address the accusations in a God-honoring way. We stand firm in our faith, knowing that God is with us, and his purpose for...
It's interesting. All right. That's her perspective. I've read it, that she's saying that Jonathan is blackmailing her, and she never does address the horrific situation with her granddaughter in that letter. I've read it 2 or 3 times. And at first importance, we're praying for the family. And I have a link in the description for you to watch this whole video. All right. And I'll let you listen to a bit more, and I'm going to check the social media.
...is far greater than any present...
I'll back it up.
...steps to satisfy a detailed performance improvement plan put in place. He also refused my offer to participate in a formal mediation to resolve grievances in a biblical and professional manner. Rather than take any steps to improve his performance at Daystar, it seems clear now that Jonathan was focused on fabricating a smear campaign. You see, Jonathan was extremely disappointed that he was not named the future president of Daystar following the death of his father and my husband, Marcus Lamb, despite the fact that Marcus had given a clear directive to the family and to the board that I would succeed him as president. Jonathan's disappointment in not getting his way only deepened when I married Dr. Doug Weiss, who has been such a blessing to me, the rest of...
All right. Now, I want to show you something here, because during the IHOP KC fiasco disaster with Mike Bickle, first importance for praying for the women that they were harmed in the global church. And somebody asked me in my comments, what are prophecy weapons? When men, regardless of who it is, uses prophecy against a woman, that's a prophecy weapon. Thus saith the Lord, jump in my van, let me send you some sexual texts, and you're going to be my future wife prophecies. Those are weapons. People in a position of authority that are using against women. Prophecy weapon. There's a lot of people new to my channel, and I'm an advocate, and I've been advocating for a third-party investigation regarding IHOP. Now, I want to show you something. This is Daystar. This is Charisma Magazine. Do you see this right here? 4 hours. 4 hours ago, there was some speculation online regarding where is Joni Lamb? Oh, look at this. They've actually posted that. It's 2 hours ago. So do you see this right here? That video 4 hours ago. And where's the other one? So this is Joni Lamb official 4 hours ago. This is Charisma Magazine 4 hours ago. This is their article. The reason there's a speculation there is because Eric Voles, where's my last video? 1 second, I'll show you. This is my last video. Thank you everyone who stopped in to watch. I usually have about 40 or 50 people, sometimes 100 people watching me. I have 1,200 people watching me right now. So it's a little intimidation. I'm doing the best I can. So thank you very much. And this video I just posted. I had 484 people like it. But in this video, I talk about Eric Voles, the crisis manager, was at Daystar. So I'll show you. Well, I think I might even have it in the comments. Right here. So we'll go to Facebook. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I believe it's possible, I think it's a good possibility, that Daystar has hired Eric, the crisis manager. So here's Daystar. In this video, we have Eric, the crisis manager. Now, Eric, the crisis manager, is the one that handled the crisis at IHOP KC in regards to Mike Bickle and his prophecy weapons against multiple women, advocates, the global church. And if you're unaware, Mike Bickle, he pretended he flew up to heaven where he was in a chariot, and first conversations with Archangel Michael and a whole bunch of other crazy false prophecy. Anyways, Eric Voles was in charge of that whole fiasco. And that's 9 hours ago. So Eric Voles is on the Daystar. Why isn't this working? There's Eric Voles. Se habla español también si quieres. Él se habla español también. He speaks Spanish. I speak Spanish. I graduated my Bible college in Mexico. 4 hours ago, Joni posts this. And the statement, launches a smear, is very similar as what Eric Voles did with IHOP KC. It was a coordinated effort. And Eric is not cheap. He's the best of the best. He's a crisis manager that manages high profile, and he's good at what he does. He gets people out of jail. He's very, very successful. And it's unclear. We'll find out if he is actually going to be a spokesman for Daystar. I don't know. It's possible. He did it for IHOP. And that's it. Thanks for everyone to watch. I'll do another update. Oh, we want to look at Joni Lamb. Let's look at... this is Susie Lamb. This article is a slam dunk. So Susie has reposted this. I have notifications from multiple different social media accounts. We'll look at Jonathan just posted something as well. This article is a slam dunk for me as far as who's being smeared, bullied, and blackmailed at Daystar. All right, so this is Joni Lamb's Susie Lamb has reposted this. Wishing the best for Jonathan and Susie. The body of Christ is praying for you. Stand by the truth. And this is in regard to the article that just got posted. So I'm going to repost that. This is a video I played at the very beginning of this video. This is the article I just played for you. And in the link in the description, you just click the button. Let's go over to Jonathan, because he just posted this. Oh, it's the same one. 40 more minutes ago. I just had the notification. This is a slam dunk. And that's where it is. So when you're dealing with crisis managers and you're dealing with public... Remember, we're talking about the biggest ministry, $1 billion ministry. We're talking about a couple. A couple is going up against it. And I really like what Susie Lamb said here when she said, They have lawyers and $1 billion. I have Jesus. I like my odds. She also posted, the truth isn't afraid of cross-examination. I think that's you have to. I don't know. I'm the kind of guy. I'm an underdog myself. All right. I'm in my going into my 6-year clean. I'm in my 6-year clean and sober, eating out of dumpsters in the back. I'm an ex-junkie myself. All right. They threw me in jail when I was in prison. I'm the underdog. All right. Many concussions. I'm the old guy, the old boxer. I don't speak very good, and I can't read very good, and I'm uneducated, but I love the underdog. The truth isn't afraid of cross-examination. I just find courage in this. So that's just my perspective on a personal note. They have lawyers. I have Jesus. I like my odds. I think that's so cool. All right. So that's it. I'm done the video. If you have a comment or question, thanks for everyone to watch. I'll keep you up to date. And let's just go over to Julie Roy's. And they need our prayer. So, oh, that's another thing. I have a mutual friend of Jonathan. And if we're going to, I'll keep you up to date. There's a few other things going on right now. And this is Julie Royce. All right, that's it. That's where I'm at. We'll answer a few questions. Oh, and I'm 100% supported by my viewers. Everything I do is free. I have no paywalls. I work on the street full time, 6 days a week. I'm 100% funded by people that want to support me, my ministry. I have a donations tab on my ministry. You're welcome to get involved. I always encourage people to support their own local food banks, drug and alcohol centers. Everything I have is free. I don't solicit people on the street for donations. And I advocacy. I do funerals. I don't charge for my funerals. And so people do get involved. I've been in full-time ministry now, going into 6 years now, and the Lord has always supplied. Thank you very much. All right, questions. Oh, I have a Linda. Linda always gifts a membership. Thank you very much, Linda. God bless you, my friend. Love you. All right, comments. We'll go right to the bottom. 1,200 people. Daystars TBN, Andrew says. Yeah, I agree. Candy says, seems like a David and Goliath scenario. We know how that turned out. That's right. Well, put all your hope in the Lord. God sees everything. Put all your trust in the Lord. And we're praying for everyone involved, including everyone in the Lamb family. It's sad because Joni deceived and deceiving their followers. Well, you can see right away when you put everything on the screen. That's what I said at the very beginning of this video. If you go back, I said I didn't like how they just clipped out this little thing. This is how it works. Like I said, that this Eric the Vols crisis guy did such a horrendously horrible job at IHOP KC. Always misdirection, half-truth, bending things. And then he ended up doxing everybody with the 50-page report. This is IHOP KC. He was hired. He was a hired hand. He did a terrible job. It was very frustrating for everyone involved. We were seeking the truth, a third-party investigation into Mike Bickle and IHOP KC. But Eric Vols always, it was all full of misdirection. And once again, Daystar, and that's what I said at the very beginning of the video, very good comment, because the viewers of Daystar, if they only get their information from mainstream Daystar, mainstream, it's like watching CNN of Christian television is Daystar, where it is so biased that if they would just simply handle this like grown-ups, and why did they clip this out? And when you read the full context of the email, it's like a extorting blackmailer. This is what the narrative that it seems to me that they have put out. Joni Lamb. Anyways, any more questions? So this is going on. The dust wipe off our feet right away. And apparently Joni sent $100K of ministry funds for her and Doug's honeymoon. Somebody else on the internet has, or another YouTube channel, just did that. I like getting my source directly from a source. let me just see here. Let me just see here. Let me think here. 100. Okay, Joni, D-Star. Here we go. D-Star. Somebody just put out. So here it is. Here, Joni Lamb billed D-Star $100,000 for honeymoon, and somebody else just put out another video about that as well. So there, a lot of YouTubers are out there doing information, but I was unimpressed with a lot of the titles. Here it is. Here, 100. There it is. There, Joni family Doug Wise 100,000 D-Star. But this video, for an example, doesn't have this source. Like, where did he get that information? Do you see that? And unless you have a source, you can get a lot of trouble. Like, but I like this one, Prophetic News. They did have this source. Oops. See, sorry, what happened? See, in this video, she's reporting on the source, and it looks like a very reliable source. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying this is a Twitter account. It says verified, and it says a writer, independent voter, interviewed, PBS, Fox and Friends, and by the way, New York Times, author of Walking Backwards. It looks like a very legitimate account. All right. And in this account, she did say that, I read this a few days ago. It does talk about $100,000. Here it is here. And speaking of money, now that Jonathan is off the board, so I can't, like, full disclosure, I'm on Twitter, right? So full disclosure, you cannot longer monitor spending. Perhaps this time has opened the books of Daystar, a ministry that paid $100,000 for a honeymoon, possesses a private jet. That is true. Private jet, often use extravagant personal expense. That's true. I did a video about that. But so there it is there, 100,000. And when I saw that, you know, for me, I'm surprised it's not $1 million. Because, for an example, Brian Houston, for a weekend retreat, he took money out of the offering plate and spent, was it $200,000 on a trip to Cancun? Him and his family. Was it $200,000 for, I think it was it, here's the live. I think I did this video quite a while ago. He spent, Brian Houston spent, forgive me, see, $150,000 for a 3-day luxury trip. So what he did was, people put money into the offering plate, and he took it out, his family, they bought a private jet, and they blew $150,000 on a 3-day luxury trip. So in this particular, I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch this video. It's one of my older videos. So I'll put that link in the description. Brian Houston takes money from the offering and spends $150,000 on 3-day vacation. That was during COVID. Everyone's locked down, but he wanted to go to the beach and blow 150 grand out of the offering plate, and he's glad that he did that. There's a video in the comments. You can go watch that video. And so when this says here 100,000 on a honeymoon, I thought, I didn't think it was, it's still a tremendous amount of money. And is it the ministry that's paying for it? If I find an article, if someone has an article that's put that in print, I'll do a video about it. Follow the money. Yes. Oh, Deborah's in the house. Brother John, you said something big is coming and that God's going to reveal you were right. Well, there's another big one coming out. I'm in touch with another big situation. Horrible situation. A third person has just come to light. But until it goes public, I'm not saying anything. It's not this situation. It's another situation of a high profile. I'm friends with one of the people involved. That'll be coming out any day. Yeah. All right, I think I'm done here. Daystar, if you forgive me, I have a whole bunch of questions, so I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Just browsing, I believe Jonathan and Susie 100%. While you definitely have two sides of the story right now, I believe that they're telling the truth. All right. Save the empire at all costs. My spirit can't stand listening to Joni's statement. I believe it's a very strong possibility that Joni didn't write that statement. She just read it on a teleprompter. All right. So that's it. Thanks for everyone who watched. And Last Days Chapel says Jonathan was very smart to make recordings. Miss Terry, thank you for your moderating. Love you. God bless you, my friend. Oh, Julie Roche just put out another video. Well, can you take a look at that? I don't know. Yeah, that's the video I just played. Right here. That's the video I played. Right here. Whoops.
In the comments.
It's a video statement from Joni.
The couple objected to the marriage, believing that
I already played that video. So that's the one there. Okay. Thanks for everyone to watch. Hit the subscribe, like the video. Miss Terry. God bless you, Tina. Thank you for sticking around. My moderators. Facebook, it says, one sec. Facebook says, unbelievable. So disappointed. Evans, these leaders got to get a God persona. Good for Jonathan the Lambs. Oh, okay. Jonathan and his wife have their own channel too. Yes, there's a link in the description of my video with their channel. Right here. This is my... In all my videos, I leave links in the description. And if you're watching the restream, there'll be one in the comment section as well. So, Jonathan... Is it? I should have a video there. That's the Roy's report. Maybe I don't. That's Torn Curtain. They did that. Anyways, if I don't have it, I'll do an update right now. Well, I'll show you the channel and I'll put it in the link in the description. This is their YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in my description right now. Right here. I thought I had it in my description. This is a lamb. So I'll put a link in the description. They have a podcast. And this is the original video that came out. It's been seen 295,000 times. Jonathan and Susie Lamb YouTube. That's it. Just checking my comments. Yeah, agreed. Lynn is not gossiping as many are being accused of. You know, oh, the framework's there. The framework has got a YouTube channel. Nice to see you, my friend. If you want to go check out his YouTube channel, the framework has a YouTube channel. Right here. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check out his channel. He does exposure videos of false prophets and the New Apostolic Reformation. And I think he's in, is it Australia or New Zealand? He's got a funny accent. All right. Thanks for everyone who watched. And if I don't have another comment, I'm out of here. Check out the Marcus Lamb video since you are there. Marcus Lamb video. How long is it? 24 minutes. All right. Full disclosure, I haven't screened this yet on my channel, but we'll listen to a little bit of it. And I'll leave a link in the description.
Miracle. So I'm gonna bless Israel. Israel's a miracle. It's a modern.
The audio is terrible. Sorry. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go watch this video. I haven't seen it yet. That's it. God bless you guys. Thank you very much. The dust wipe off receipt. Have a good night. Continue prayer for those who are helping Brother John. Thank you for everyone who's supporting my ministry outreach. Thank you, Linda, again for your support of my ministry outreach. God bless you, my friend. Miss Terry, oops, put it on the same time. Miss Terry's in the house. God bless you guys. It's interesting that when you're reporting what's in public domain, this is the biggest, one of the biggest scandals going on in the church right now. It's important that we're talking about these things, keeping everyone in prayer. And like I said, if you only get your information from one source, well, if you're only listening to CNN, you only get CNN News. And if you're only listening to Daystar, you're only going to get Daystar News. There are people that are hurting in this. And on my channel, my intention is to bring clarity and ask my viewers to pray. God answers prayer. That's it. So, may the Lord bless you, keep you strong in the faith, and remember, Brother John loves you.